Galvin. Chairman, you have a quorum to proceed.
Thank you. And now we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Mr. Interim Executive Director, any item for review, action, any deletion?
No, sir.
Everything is-
No additions or deletions.
Okay. We good to go, Mr. Attorney? Thank you. Madam Secretary, item
Unless-
number 1.
Unless a member of the CRA Board wishes to remove a specific item from this portion of the agenda, Tab A constitutes the consent agenda. This resolution and item is self-explanatory and is not expected to require additional review or discussion. This item will be recorded as individually numbered resolution adopted unanimously by the following motion: that the consent agenda comprised of Tab A be adopted.
Can I hear
There's
a
nothing?
motion?
Second.
Oh, is there no consent?
There's no
There is no
consent agenda tonight.
Okay, so it's listed here.
I know, that was, that's what I said. Yes,
There
item,
is no consent.
Just tore in after my butt down. I'll be focused.
Sorry about that, but my binder had it.
yeah, mine did, okay.
So
item
agenda
1.
item 1, approval of grant agreement with Museum of Contemporary Art, Inc.
Mr. Chair and board members, this is an agreement between the CRA and the Museum of Contemporary Art for the Art in Public Places program for Mocha Plaza. The museum has managed this in the past, and my understanding is the previous agreement had expired, and so this is the updated agreement and through which it's, I believe, 4 different installations. You'll see the budget attached. It's the $70,000 that is in your approved budget for the CRA. And we recommend approval of this. It was recommended favorably by the advisory committee.
Okay, tab, agenda item 1 is open to the public for public comment. Tab 1 is closed. Members of the dais, any question on tab 1?
Move for approval?
Second.
I have a motion made by Board Member Estimate Irvin to approve the agenda item 1. The motion was seconded by Board Member Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Agenda item 2.
Mr. Chair, this is, and I have something brief to put up on the screen, but it's not really a presentation. Your next 3 items are commercial grants.
Do you want me to read them all?
Please.
Agenda item 2, business attraction grant request, JM Sports Bar / The Cats Restaurant and Lounge. Agenda item 3 is business attraction grant request, Silver Spoon Events. And agenda item 4 is rehabilitation grant request, West Dixie Highway LLC.
Mr. Attorney, are we taking all of these together or separately?
No, you should take them separately, sir.
Okay.
And I'd like to note for the record that there are resolutions for certain of these items, including the one that you just approved. We will add them to the record after the meeting and sign them appropriately. And I'll mention the other items as they come up that had resolutions prepared, but are not in the agenda book for some reason. Thank you.
Do we have them, though?
Yes, I drafted them.
They're online, okay.
Yeah, they were provided to staff last week.
What happened, Mr. Carter, do we know?
Sir, I'm not sure. I see them not in here. I know that we had them prepared last week, and I'm looking to see if maybe they are in the online version. So I believe we had them to upload into the digital.
Okay. Okay, members, do you guys have them in your packet? I don't see them either. I see the backup documents are in.
Should we continue it then?
No, I think we could, they said they have it. They think
No, we
could
can
pass it.
we can continue the meeting. We can approve the items,
The
and we will
items.
just address the resolutions after
Yeah,
the
we wanna-
fact.
Yeah, I just wanted to figure out from the CRA standpoint, why is it missing? Because we had this issue before, prior to this, and we got to make sure that it doesn't continue. Whoever is working on the agenda, do their job and make sure that they do it accurately.
Yes, and Mr. Chair, during the executive director's report, I can talk to you a little bit about what we're looking at in terms of the agenda process
Okay.
for the CRA.
Awesome. Thank you so
So
much.
I'm sorry, just to clarify, the resolutions are missing?
Yeah, the actual
They're
resolution
missing from the agenda
From the
book
agenda.
and package.
So for which items?
for the
They
three.
would be,
So it is
Item-
there for item 7.
Yeah, I see it.
item 1, item 5, and item 7 all had resolutions that I prepared for the meeting. I do see the resolution for item 7 in your book, or in my book. I don't know if it's in your book.
Yeah, 7 is in the book. We have 7.
Right.
That's the
Okay,
other
so
one.
it's just items 1
Yeah,
and
you're supposed to
5.
sign off on it.
So I'd make a motion, we continue those 3 items until our next meeting,
I'll
so that
second
everybody has a chance to review the resolutions.
Yeah, I don't know.
I have a motion made by Board Member Galvin to continue agenda items 2,
N-
5, no, agenda item 5 and 7 then.
No,
1
no,
and
no.
5.
One
2,
for-
3,
No,
and
One was
4.
already approved.
One was already
One is
approved.
already approved.
2, 3, and 4.
So
It's-
item 5 is missing a
The
resolution.
It's
resolution.
only item 5 at this point.
So agenda item 5.
So only agenda item 5
Right.
doesn't have a resolution?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's not in the book. It's
Not in the
drafted,
book.
it was provided to staff. It's not in the book.
Somebody will do it.
So you draft the resolutions and you give it to the interim executive director to put together the agenda? the
I
resolution?
Yes,
provided
we
it
did
to-
receive a
yes.
resolution.
Okay, so before you sign off and print the agenda, we didn't ensure that those were in there? Or deliver these books over?
It was an oversight.
Okay.
For which,
So-
so now it's item 5, right?
So item 1 you approved. We have a resolution for that prepared. The clerk and I will, or the secretary and I will go through the reso. She'll make sure it's correct. We will sign the reso. Item 5, the resolution is missing. Item 7, it is in here.
It's in here. I have.
So
numbers.
I would respectfully request that if Board Member Galvin wants to continue an item without a resolution, that it just be item 5.
Okay, if I'll withdraw my motion to continue any items until the next agenda, and I'm ready and willing to move forward on all items. If we need to take a recess, maybe for you to bring us physical copies, I don't know, but.
Staff is bringing physical copies over.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay,
Thank you, Board Member.
thank you.
So you're withdrawing your motion?
Yes.
So which item are we on item number
2.
3? Oh, 2, we still on 2. Yeah, we vote on 2, that's the GM Sports Bar.
Did we vote on 2?
I think it was open, it's open to the public. The agenda item number 2 is open to the public. Seeing none,
Move approval?
Second.
Second.
I have a motion made by Board Member Galvin to approve the item at agenda item 2. The motion was seconded by Board Member Estimate Irvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
item number 3, business attraction grant for Silver Spoon Events.
This is an additional business attraction grant for Silver Spoon Events, which is a commercial kitchen. It'll be located at 1300 Northeast 125th Street. The project is $382,000 and the recommendation is $100,000 grant.
Okay. So move.
Second?
Do you want to open it to public hearing?
Yes. Public hearing is now open on item number 3. Seeing none, public hearing is closed.
Move approval?
Second.
I think we.
No, yeah.
Well, I have a motion made by
Yeah.
the chairman
got it.
to
Yes.
approve
Move to
agenda item
adjourn.
3.
That
The
I'll
motion was
second.
seconded by Board Member Galvin. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
We are to
Agenda item 4, rehabilitation grant request, West Dixie Highway LLC.
Agenda item 4 is a request for $64,239, a 50/50 match for rehabilitation of 12700 West Dixie Highway. This is for renovations for the current tenant, Acadia Health. This is for exterior improvements, including windows, parking lot improvements, and landscaping.
quick question. They're not the owner. Are they the owner of the building, or are they renting the building?
Acadia Health is the
owner,
is the tenant.
the tenant?
The
Okay.
applicant is the owner of the building.
Got it. Okay, that's what I wanted to make sure. In reference, this the property in front of the old 90 way. Public hearing is now open. Public hearing is now closed on the item. Members of the
Move approval.
Second.
I have a motion made by Board Member Galvin to approve agenda item 4. The motion was seconded by Board Member Charles. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote. Agenda item 5, approving general contractor for housing inspection services for residential rehabilitation program.
Agenda item 5, you'll recall one or
I'm
two
gonna-
meetings
Is
ago.
that,
Gonna
hold
read
on,
it?
hold on 1 second, hold on.
That's when we're waiting
Can
on
we,
that physical
yes,
copy.
the actual resolution we need.
What?
Could we take
We need
item
a
5
copy
out
of the
order,
resolution.
because we're waiting on the physical resolution.
have
to be
it?
We have the
but-
physical resolution for item 5.
The members asking for a copy of it.
Oh, you need to,
Yes.
okay.
Mr. Estrada, as we're waiting, are you are doing the presentation on item 5, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, good afternoon.
I'm sorry, I need to read it into the record before the presentation.
The other ones.
Can you list them, Mr. Galvin, please?
Wait, did we read the other one? Did
No,
we
because
all of them?
there wasn't a resolution.
Right.
There's a
The other one?
resolution.
Now we're getting the physical copy, so we can read
Yeah.
it and go move forward.
No, that's all one, that's one. I think that's all one.
For board members.
No, they're coming, it's coming. No, I think that's yours. Ours is coming. This is fine. No, waiting is actually, we're waiting for now in our meeting.
Right.
Chairman.
Thank you.
Did you? Right.
Vice Chair, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, I know there's a
I think he has one. Got it.
Yes.
Here you go, Councilman. Thank you. All right, we all good to go.
Agenda item 5, a resolution of the chair and board members of the North Miami Community Redevelopment Agency authorizing the interim executive director and North Miami CRA attorney to negotiate and finalize an agreement with Green Era Sustainable Consulting, Inc. to provide quality control and inspection services for the Housing Rehabilitation Grants Program on an as-needed basis for an amount not to exceed $2,000 per each project and an estimated total amount not to exceed $76,000 based on an anticipated total number of 38 housing rehabilitation projects. Authorizing the interim executive director to execute the agreement with Green Era Sustainable Consulting, Inc. Authorizing the interim executive director to take all action necessary to implement the terms of the agreement and providing an effective date. Agenda item 5.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, board members. For the record, Alberto Estrada, Purchasing Director. So the item that you have before you is a recommendation from CRA staff as well as the purchasing department to award a contract to the company by the name of Green ERA Sustainable Consulting Incorporated to provide the CRA Housing Rehabilitation Grants Program with quality control and inspection services. As part of the scope of the work that this company is going to perform, they'll include some preliminary inspections for each of the houses or the homes that are participating in this program, a project scoping for bidding. They'll also conduct pre-bid meetings, interim work inspections, project closeout survey, and final reports. And a copy of their proposal, which includes a breakdown of these services, is included as part of the agenda item before you. The one other thing I'd like to mention, that this is a recommendation for a bid waiver, so it does require 4/5 approval by the board. And if you have any other questions, I'll be glad to take them, and I believe that the principal from Green ERA is present here this evening in the event that you have any questions of the firm.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Chairman, can Mr. Distrati explain to the board why we're seeking a waiver of competitive bidding? Mr.
Well-
Distrati, please.
Yes. Well, actually, this was a recommendation that was in conjunction with CRA staff. There is a sort of a pressing need, if you will, for the CRA Housing Rehabilitation Grants Program to get underway, if you will. They have a number of homes already that they have already selected for this rehabilitation program. So bringing this contract on board, I think, is going to be critically important to the success of that program. So really, in a nutshell, that's the reason. Other than that, it's simply the fact that you would probably have to do an entire solicitation process. And that process typically can take anywhere from 4 to 5 months to go through the entire process and then come before the board again. So, again, this is a recommendation from CRA staff as well as from my department.
And Mr. Chair, I would just briefly add that the CRA follows the city's procurement guidelines, and as such, the option that the director just mentioned in the longer time RFP was one. In this case, it's a waiver because in those guidelines, we only received 2 bids.
Yeah, that's
And
what
since
I
there
was
were
gonna-
not 3, that's what requires the waiver.
Okay, so with the 2 that we selected, are we presenting, this is the selected one, or is it both? Are we putting in a pool, or is it, this is the recommended one?
The recommendation is to award with Green Era Sustainable
Okay,
Consulting.
that's what I wanted to know. All right, thank you. The item number 5 is open to the public for public comment. Seeing none, public hearing is closed on the item.
Move
to
approval.
approval.
Second.
I have a motion made by Board Member Galvin to approve Agenda Item 5. The motion was seconded by Board Member Charles. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Thank you.
Agenda Item 6, approving construction proposal for Pioneer Boulevard Sculpture Base.
Mr. Chair, this is an item you had previously awarded, and through your Art and Public Places process, had selected a sculpture for the western end at 6th Avenue and Pioneer Boulevard as part of that Pioneer Boulevard Outdoor Sculpture Gallery. The CRA had also allocated money for Pioneer Boulevard, including landscaping, walkway, and the installation and the base for the sculpture. This is the item awarding to the lowest of 3 bids the fabrication of the base necessary for the sculpture.
And this is the sculpture? That's the picture of the sculpture?
Yes.
Oh, this,
Can we put up item number 6 on the screen?
On number 6?
Or just the presentation? No. This is the diagram of the sculpture.
Yeah. There's another one I saw. It's a little
And here you can see it, and on the right, you can see that the
Yeah.
sculpture has been fabricated and is ready for installation, so the next step is the base.
bit- oh my lord.
Where will that be installed?
And-
Yeah, no, I was
and
gonna
yours
say the
is-
same
That's
thing. I
not
thought it was
Turk.
just
That's
me.
not
I-
pretty.
Go back.
I think it looks like what somebody had left over in their studios, so they sold it to us.
If you go back, it showed the location.
Yeah, it's just
Pioneer.
just to the east of the beautiful fountain on 6th Avenue,
Mm.
Can you put the presentation back up?
there in District 3.
Good evening, Board. The sculpture will be located in the first median on 6th Avenue and Pioneer Boulevard. It's right behind the water fountain.
Right there.
How much is it gonna cost us?
The public art piece was assigned $25,000, and this base is just under $50,000
The base is more than the actual art.
due to the increase in construction since COVID.
Well,
I'm not excited about this, that's just me.
Is,
If we reject this tonight, what happens to the art piece?
It sits in storage.
Whose storage? Our storage?
No, it sits with the fabricator. That's where it is right now.
Have we paid the fabricator?
Yes, we have. The public art piece was a part of a call to artists process. There were several submissions. Of all the submissions, this was the artist that won with the highest numbers through the art selection committee.
But,
And
the
on that
council-
premise,
The council CRA choose that winner?
the art selection for the CRA Art Selection Committee,
The committee, but not.
when was the,
Who the,
the public art process doesn't involve the CRA board at the time of the selection of the art piece. So we had 20 submissions. The selection committee went through the process of choosing the top 3, and then they made the decision on the final winner. Of all of those submissions, this was the piece that got the most numbers.
a question for you. You guys are being nice,
ahead.
please.
The committee should
good
come up with
evening.
the extra 50,000 for that cement base.
Councilman Galvin, be
Sorry,
nice to my.
sorry.
So I'd like to know, when was the committee selected? How long ago was this?
The committee was selected when I started in 2021.
That's what I thought, this was a long time ago. If there's, I'll leave it at that. Okay, that's fine.
no.
No.
Madam Vice Chair.
No, I didn't, but why did it take so long?
Did you,
That's what I'm trying to figure out, because I remember when this happened. This happened like what,
2022, we were waiting for quotes for the base, and we had a hard time finding vendors to submit numbers for
This is
it
hard.
because it's a small project in the big scheme of things, with construction being at its height right now. A lot of the contractors were not interested in a small project, but we were able to find 3 bids because of the initial quote coming in over $25,000.
So what you're saying is we've already paid for this. Is that what you're saying?
We haven't already paid for this. This is, the base itself hasn't been paid for. The sculpture has been paid for. The artist has been paid. And so now we need to install it.
So I'm feeling no love for this. I would suggest we keep whatever, sorry. I would suggest that we keep this piece in storage and,
this is
You know.
a lot for the base.
wait till we can find a better funding. 50,000 for a base, for a not incredibly attractive
So,
art piece.
so since this is in my district, if you guys could give me the courtesy of just tabling this item and let me just have the conversation and see what we can come up with, okay? So I'd motion to table this item, please.
I'll second that.
But I also want to comment after the motion, Madam Vice Chair.
Make your comment.
No.
Oh,
After the
Oh,
call.
okay.
I have a motion made by Board Member Estime Irvin to table Agenda Item 6. The motion was seconded by Board Member Charles. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
What I would suggest in the future with the art committee, that whatever recommendation that they have, that they would at least bring it to the board, at least to review, because this is really you know,
That's not
I
a-
thought Councilwoman, with all due respect to her, I thought that was her thing, so I wasn't saying anything, but, you know,
The
Because-
concept is, but I've not seen it. What I'm
No, that's
hoping,
what
one of the things I plan to do is actually see it in person, because maybe this is not given a good description. But anyway,
Yeah.
we can have that conversation.
Right, and what we can do is I'll take a look at just the processes that Public Art goes through when it relates to the CRA. I've worked in other cities that have been involved in this, and it's always, in those AIPP programs, they don't look to CRA boards to be the ultimate committee that decides on the art, but clearly, somewhere in the process, you don't want the piece of art to be showing up and a surprise to a board.
Right,
Like it's
right.
maybe the
well,
first time
and,
they
and
see
that,
it.
and that's what happened, because if they don't need us to, we get the phone calls.
Right.
And if we don't have no answers, because I woke up one day and I started seeing boxes painted in my district, and I started getting phone calls, and I did not know nothing about it, and homeowners started cussing me out, saying, no, you did this, and I had to explain, to them. So it's just a matter of courtesy in terms of,
Sure.
because not everybody look at arts differently. So, for those who know, at least educate us or let us know this is what's happening. So when we're getting the call, we could let the folks know, hey, this is what MOCA's putting out there. Yes, we did pay for it, but if we don't even know that we paid for it, or we know a base, costing 50 grand.
And I have some thoughts on that, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a piece, Mr. Chairman, there's a piece in Keystone called The Eye that's on the intersection of North Bayshore and Keystone Boulevard that was personally selected by a previous council person that is no longer up here. Wasn't vetted, well, I continue to take flack, and no, it wasn't me who chose it, but I continue to take flack, and this piece looks a lot like that piece with its stark black, odd design. So yeah, I don't necessarily want to be the one who chooses, because hell if I know any
Right.
art, but
I don't.
But
All
that,
right.
that process of communication, once a selection is made,
Yeah, let
and
folks
kind
know.
of, some of that criteria, we'll work on, take a look at that and bring some ideas back to you.
Thank you. Next, item number 7.
Agenda item 7, approving an amendment of the agreement between the North Miami CRA and Business Flair LLC to add interim executive director services. Resolution number 2023-008, a resolution of the chair and board members of the North Miami Community Redevelopment Agency authorizing the executive director and North Miami CRA attorney to negotiate and finalize a third amendment to the consultant agreement with Business Flair LLC to provide interim executive director services in an amount not to exceed $67,500, authorizing the interim executive director to execute the third amendment to consulting agreement with Business Flair LLC, authorizing the interim executive director to take all action necessary to implement the terms of the third amendment to consulting agreement, and providing an effective date. Agenda item 7.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, this is an amendment to the contract with my firm from the prior meeting after the motion to appoint us as the interim executive director. It adds your executive director duties to our scope. It sets it out at a 4-month period, which would include a month of transition for your new executive director. It provides compensation for the firm and the team at the level that your prior executive director was at, not including the benefits package. So
Okay.
just at the base salary.
Thank you.
Is it open to the public?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, you're right. Public hearing open on the item number 7. Public hearing is now closed.
Mr. Chair, may I?
Yes.
Okay. I have an issue with this item. Clearly, in our last CRA meeting, the majority of us stated that we had the intent of actually appointing an executive director for this term. So we were provided with names. I'm surprised that this was not on the agenda. So I am absolutely not in favor of this, and I would personally, I'm ready to make an appointment to appoint Annabelle Emmanuel to be our permanent executive director.
Of what?
to be our permanent executive director for the CRA.
Because this wasn't on the agenda in that regard, I've not even interviewed. I got a short list sent to me when I was on my way back from Dallas, but I didn't have a chance
Is
to
it
interview
closed yet?
anybody, nor did I.
Yes, we, in our last meeting, we specifically said that it would be closed. We specifically said that we would, the intent was to appoint that person in
Can you
March.
come in?
And I'll second it for discussion, since I guess we're having it right now.
Yeah,
Right.
we need to have a discussion.
That was a
'cause
motion.
Right.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Good evening, CRA Board. For the record, I am Laura Woodley, the Personnel Director for the City of North Miami. This position was posted, and it closes as of Friday, midnight, which is March 17th. So it
Okay.
is still open, still
That's
has a
fine.
few
Okay.
days. However, at this point of time, we've only received 15 applications to date, and it was shortlisted for 4 applicants that met the minimum qualifications.
So once procedurally, once March 17th comes and goes, how do we handle, do we advertise for a special meeting in 2 weeks, next
Yeah,
one in a
that's-
month?
that was
Do we
my-
then interview the short list? I mean,
Yeah.
what's standard
Well,
procedure?
I think we do what we want.
Yes.
So, I did request a process. It was supposed to be on the 14th, and I think that, like we all said,
Process.
and I'm going to repeat our words, that this is a political process, and there's a motion and a second on the table to appoint an executive director. And I had I know our directives was to make sure that we had a short list by March
Before the next
14th.
meeting.
So who made that executive decision to have it extended until the 17th? So because last
Wait a
I know
minute.
that we
Wait,
give
Madam-
directives here.
Yes.
So, board
Right.
member,
Yes,
the advertisement was posted for 30 days
Okay.
per the original request.
Okay.
So we decided we was gonna do a 30-day search, so that's why it was extended to the 17th. So that was always the original time period. However, the short list was provided to the board on March 6th. So it was prior to the 14th, you did have there 4 applicants that met the qualifications for your review.
Now I have a question. Well, can someone explain to me what exactly went wrong? Because this item was on the agenda, and for some reason, somehow, it just disappeared. Because the plan was basically, as we discussed tonight, was the night that we were going to appoint someone permanently into the CRA. That was the plan. As we left, and I remember vividly, that was on the lovely February 14th. Who extended that time to the 17th? Because there's like some pushing back and everything that I do not understand at this moment. Can somebody please clarify?
So the 17th date, Councilman, was the original time period. It was 30 days, the advertisement. So it was 30 days, which ended on the 17th, meaning that's the date when the advertisement will close. However, you was provided a short list as of March 6th. So you've already received all the applicants that meet the minimum qualifications. So if it's the board's desire tonight to move forward, that's up to the board, but
Okay.
you've been
Because-
provided the
Here's a
information
question for
that
the
we have.
attorney then. If Barack Obama walks in tomorrow and slaps down his resume on March the 15th, which is still within the March 17th window, and we appoint somebody tonight, I mean, do we run afoul of any legal problems that we advertised staying open to the 17th, but then we closed before that? And then, I mean, if that's okay, then let's choose somebody. I want to make sure we don't make a legal error by closing early, so to speak.
Are you posing that question to me as the
Yes.
CRA attorney? All right, I would also ask the HR director to weigh in on that because, and I'll give you my opinion, but for her to weigh in on it because she's the one who advertised the position and the solicitation is still open, as far as I've just been
Right.
told tonight.
So if the solicitation is still open, Mr. Zelkowitz, we pay you big money, I'm asking for a big opinion.
Well,
If the solicitation is still open and we choose somebody right now, while it's still open, do we open ourselves up for any legal
Well,
recourse?
I mean, you're asking me a question on which I've not done any research and looked at any case law But I would say the prudent course of action would be to wait till the 17th happens and then have a special meeting right after that. I mean, I don't think you all have even agreed on a process of what to do with the 4 shortlisted applicants. Are you going to interview them in public? Or are you going to interview them individually? I mean, I know some of you have already made up your minds clearly as to who you want to vote for, but I think I've heard the HR director say there's 4 qualified applicants. We wanted a process. What's the process?
We're a
So,
political
I mean,
board.
If I may.
I
No.
would, again, suggest a prudent course of action, and is to wait until the solicitation date closes, and then have a process, and then make your decision.
Again,
I'm sorry, if I may, I know at our last CRA board meeting, we stated, yes, a 30-day advertisement period, but we also stated that 30 days would be effectively today, March 14th, because our meeting was on February 14th, the advertisement went live, and now we're at March 14th. So at any point, if you realize, hey, I started publicizing on the 17th, we should have been notified, hey, this was the open date, this was the close date. But the board was, we were advised that the process would be open, effective immediately, and it would close on the 14th, and we would appoint today. So if we didn't do our, if we got the short list, and you did give it to us in advance, if we didn't get any further applicants as of today, we close it. If we're ready to move forward with a executive director tonight, we move forward. We can't say that, hey, there's a process when we're after the fact approving an amendment to a contract for our interim executive director. So I think we have a motion on the floor to appoint someone. There's a second. I would call the vote.
I'm, all right.
First
I'll
of
be
all,
voting
hold
no
on, hold
then,
on.
only because I don't like
Yeah,
the way it's being
yeah,
ran.
I-
And would
yeah,
like to hear
first and
from
foremost,
the HR director as to
yeah.
her
Not because I
experience
don't
with
like
Because,
whoever,
yeah,
because
I think-
I haven't
type
had
of
a chance to
situation.
interview.
yes, let me stop. Let me, please. I've heard members from my colleagues, and I've heard the implication that probably some folks who gave folks directives, whatever the case is, and I have not had any conversation with the HR director regarding this position or what. Tonight, I thought I was under the impression we were gonna come in and give whatever directive, whatever that we needed to make. That was that. Whatever majority of the board needs to make, whatever, like you said, I could care less. I do care about the business of the CRA. I would love to interview whoever the person might be. If they think Ms. Annabelle could do the job, that's fine. Or the other 4 that you suggested, I looked at the list. There's some others that I wanted to talk to as well. To look at their experience and see, so that we're not in the same book that we are in. Because I have some other questions regarding the budget that was submitted from to the county that was prepared. But that's all hearsay in there. We are a political body, but at the end of the day, we have a business to run, and this is the people's business. We got businesses who are coming in, who are thinking that their stuff should have been ready to go, but they are aware that we had a little hiccup in terms of some personal issues that we had to deal with. So if the board, you are the attorney, if they want to appoint somebody, whatever, I am with Councilman Galvin. I'm not ready to vote on someone tonight. If the majority rules, that's fine. I don't have any issues with it. But just so you know, I want it to be very clear, the personnel director and I, we have not had any conversation. It was very clear it was 30 days. When we left here, it was not posted until 3 days after. And I think that's why the 30 days, and we got to be honest, if we're going to sit here, it was the 14th, but the job posting did not post.
No, all I said was we should have been notified that, hey.
But we knew when it was, when we
No, we
left
should have
here.
been knowing that if it was posted 3 days afterward, I think, fair enough, communicate with us, letting us know the 30-day period starts today, it ends on this day. I know there was direction that we would appoint someone on the 14th. Please be advised that an appointment would not be possible because the 30 days will be effective on the 17th. That should have been a memo communicated to the board stating that. So I don't know who dropped the ball on that item, but if we left this meeting prepared
Thinking
to
that
vote
to
for
appoint
someone
someone
on the
tonight.
next meeting.
Yep.
So my thing is, at that point, my question to staff is, at what point do you notify us and let us know that?
With that, go ahead.
Board member, we could have maybe
I'm sorry.
clarified the
Yeah,
date of
let
the
him
announcement. The other request that had been made that we did the following day was to provide the board with the prior job description for the position, which we did put out. We heard back from a couple of board members, there were no real changes recommended to it, and from then is when the HR department published it. And so we had put that out, that job description, but you're right, we could have clarified that this is the date because of the review of this job description that it's going to go out.
Because, I was prepared tonight, too. I got a short list, I reviewed it, and
Same here.
I'm sorry.
So,
Call-
Mr. Chair, if I may, I would say it again. The CRA is too important to the city
It is.
for us to let it just go in here without a captain, just go around. A few things that were supposed to we were supposed to get some clarification on, never ever seen them. And again, I am going to reiterate that point. On the first agenda that I look up, the appointment of a director was part of it. Now, for some reason, some way, somehow, this item was deleted. And
Which
on
item- which item, Councilman?
for the appointment of the CRA director. And then when I was in Dallas, when I received the list of applicants and everything, so it took me about like a good 4 hours to sit down and go over and look at everything and see exactly what we want to do and how we want to move on with the CRA. And I believe tonight is the night. We need to decide exactly what we are going to do. We cannot let it drag on. I understand the 17, and that will be Friday. And I do believe if we are going to make a decision tonight, I don't think the 17 will change the course. Let's just go ahead and bring that to a
Councilman,
closure and then
Councilman,
up
Councilman.
and down vote, and then we'll
Wait,
call it the day.
Councilman, wait. You just said it's important, which it is, but if we haven't interviewed or talked to the people, we wouldn't know, because I don't know who's qualified to do I saw the basic,
Said the same thing.
qualification. I'm sorry, we said the same thing where, Councilman?
No, I was talking to myself. No, I said the same thing you were saying when we were trying to appoint a city manager.
Oh,
I didn't have an opportunity to interview, but we know her.
No, but
and the
you
same
know
way
her.
we know Ms. Annabelle, she's been here since December.
Yeah, but I know her as an attorney, not an executive director.
Well, she's
So
kind
that's
of
what I'm saying. So I don't know, you have a legal aspects and you have running business, you got folks who need their money, who need stuff. So it's a whole different ballgame between legal and between actually running the stuff. So and I don't want to bring people's name into this, and I'm trying to do this the best way we can. Obviously, we do what we got to do, but if we're doing this the right way, where we are not in the same situation as we were last time, I think we need to be mindful and just do what needs to be done for North Miami, whichever way. And obviously, I think, Councilman Galvin stated what he said, and I'm the same way. I was not ready or prepared in terms of appointing someone tonight, even though if today was the right day, because I don't even think we have qualified or the bulk of the folks that I did look at, and I have not even interviewed or talked to those people or to know what was the process. I thought tonight we were coming in to discuss the process or to talk about what we needed to do in terms of appointing someone. But if the board, like you say, willing to do that, or do Ms. Annabelle, whatever the case is, hey, let it all be.
I'd like to call the question.
Madam Clerk. Oh, I seconded.
Yeah.
For the calling of the question?
No,
Or
there
for
was
the
a
motion.
motion and
You don't need a
second.
second to call a question. Once
Right.
call
Do.
question's been made with their second
you
on the
do.
table, it's automatically
I have a
done.
motion made by Board Member Estime Irvin to appoint Annabelle Emmanuel as interim executive director of the North Miami CRA.
Not interim, she made
As the
Promoted.
executive director, excuse me.
Thank you for that.
The motion was seconded by Board Member Timothy. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries with a 3-2 vote.
So now what happened with his, part of his,
Should we renegotiate?
Well,
Well, maybe do we
Well,
bring back
you
whatever
all-
amended services that we pay him
excuse me.
for?
hold on, hold on.
You all need to compensate Mr. Crowder's firm for the last month. You're not amending his contract, I guess. You're just going to compensate him at some rate that I presume will be the rate that he asked for the last month's worth of work. And then he has his regular contract as a consultant to the CRA. And tomorrow, I presume Ms. Annabo takes over as the executive director because it's immediate. And I presume you'll want me to bring a contract back at the next meeting.
That's correct.
Okay. And we
The
move
next
on.
meeting being what date? We need to be real specific, I guess, when we talk about this
Unless
stuff.
it's a special
And
meeting.
you need to,
Same
you
day.
need to advise who's going to negotiate the contract with her.
That would be
Right,
you.
so-
Wait,
right.
Ain't you the attorney?
Yes, myself.
So what you
and-
mean?
And I presume the HR director.
Well, yes. I mean, that's what we paid you to do that.
Of
So,
course.
Mr.
Well,
Attorney, I'm
I'm just looking, I want to get it
The
on
clear
the record, though,
directive?
sir. That's all.
Mr. Chair, through the chair, I'd like to make sure that we direct the attorney to make the necessary negotiations, the contract negotiation, to make sure that we have an executive director effective immediately.
And bring the contract back at the next regular CRA board meeting for
Would you guys
consideration.
be in favor of, since I guess we're going to talk about our next meeting in a council meeting, would you be in favor, guys be in favor of doing it that same day? Or do you,
It would be way better
which is
if
the
we,
29th?
Yeah.
The
The
29th, yeah, the
In
29th,
2 weeks from now?
correct.
When
Yes,
is,
so-
No, the next meeting's on 28.
No, we're going to talk about it. I think there may be a movement due to,
the
lack
National
of
League of
quorum.
Cities?
Right.
Oh, see, I don't know anything about that.
right, so we're requesting to have this on February, what am I saying?
No.
On
Wait,
March.
hold on.
March 29th.
Wait, no, oh, hold on.
I'm
hold on.
lost, yeah,
Wait,
I'm
wait,
lost.
wait. Why are we rushing? Wait a minute. I mean, she'll take over tomorrow. So we will just you guys will discuss whatever the case is. And when is our next meeting?
Our next meeting, regular meeting,
April 11th.
April 11th.
would
Fine,
be
we
April
can do it
11th.
April 11th. I mean, it's
But
just,
I just heard
two
something
before.
about traveling to League of Cities.
That's the League of Cities is the last week of April, the 29th. which
No,
is
last week of March.
Yeah, the last week of March. So
Oh,
we just-
well, you're,
So somebody needs to
Whatever
like
the
clue me
majority.
in. I'm not going to any League of Cities stuff. So is there going to be something in the council, let's just put it out there right now. In the council meeting, you're going to ask that the council meeting be
2
of
days be.
March
I was-
28th,
That it would-
instead move to March 29th.
Either the 29th or the 30th, I think. They were gonna ask us if, whatever date.
most likely it's gonna be the 29th, because I think on the.
Let me make
on the
this
30th,
easier.
there's something
If it
else.
could be negotiated when we have our next council meeting, and you will
First
be
of all,
advised
are
of
you
that
going to League of
date.
Cities?
Okay, well, I will tell you
Everybody
that I'm not in town on the 29th and 30th, but I would send one of my partners in my place then.
Okay, for the 30th?
That's all.
But you
If
here on the
that's- If that's
29th?
when the next council meeting is, yes, I would just send one of my partners.
No,
What I
yeah,
ju-
no,
no, what
no.
I stated was, Mr. Chair, is that it would just be done when the next council meeting, that same day of the next council meeting, we would just have that contract is
So
what I'm
it'll be
saying.
a special,
It will be a special.
that's what I'm
meeting
saying,
just
for one item. Can
we could do
it
2
on the
items. We
11th?
could bring Kevin and Annabo so that he can be properly paid
Correct.
for his services
Correct.
and Annabo can.
Correct.
Can we
approve
just,
her-
guys, please, can we just, is there a reason why we can't wait for the 11th of April? I mean,
There's no legal
everybody's getting
reason.
paid, it's
Okay.
nobody, yeah.
That's fine.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
I'm
why we
okay with
brought,
that. I'm
that's
okay
why
with
we brought
It's very
I'm
Mr.
okay.
Crowder's
Then
contract
Then that's
back
fine. That makes it
tonight.
easier.
Yeah,
April 11th
easier,
is fine.
and we'll
That's
just
fine.
deal with it on the 11th, whatever that
That's
we're
fine.
doing. And then we'll take it from there. I mean, the 11th, it's already confusing if it's the 30th, if it's, and who knows, it might be on the 28th. I don't know if I may go.
So April the 11th is the last day, and we can move on, and we've agreed that we would bring then both your item and our new executive director's item, correct?
Certainly.
That's all.
Motion to adjourn, or is it?
No,
Well,
reports.
we have reports.
Okay.
CRA report.
I'll be very quick with the interim executive director's report. The one that I would mention is the budget amendment that you made was transmitted to the county. The county had just a couple of small comments, just a formatting question, as well as a clarification in the narrative. So those changes have been made, and it's been provided back to the county. And then the other thing is, when you did approve that budget, you approved up to $250,000 for freebie within the CRA. At your last council meeting, you approved your agreement. So we're looking at the April meeting, having the interlocal between the CRA and the city for that, because we want to make sure that the CRA, the statutory protections, and that the eligible uses and locations are built
Within our
into.
boundaries, within the CRA boundaries?
Correct,
Gotcha.
yes. Yep.
Well, actually, my report was first, but I don't have any report.
Do you have
Thank
any
you.
report?
Oh.
Can I get a motion
I
to
just,
adjourn?
I just would like to thank all the women here, who serve, and for your service, and for International Women's Month. And I was actually out of the country and witnessed some other events, and all over the world it was being celebrated. I'll just let you know. So thank you for everything you do.
And
Thank
thank
That
you.
includes you, Madam Secretary.
Thank you all, and thank you all for putting your CRA in our hands for this short time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
I have a motion to adjourn made by the chairman. Was there a second?
Second.
The motion was seconded by Board Member Charles. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries with a 5-0
Join us for the
vote. It is
reception outside for Women's
6:26
History Month.
PM.
Well, let's take a picture.